The story I would like to read is A Beaver's Tale of Greed, and my name is Iron Martin. Once upon a time, there lived an older man married to a younger woman. He was a trapper, a fisherman, and a man of many skills, who also loved his wife very much, probably more than she loved him. Seldom were their food lockers empty, for every day he caught, trapped, or fished something to bring home. What they did not eat he sold. There was always demand for his catch of the day. He was not a rich or showy man, but one who worked by the sweat of his brow and knew to be satisfied with what he had. He was happy in just being himself. In spite of all this, his wife was not. She wanted much more and mocked him daily. She called him simple-minded and a foolish man who did not know how to be happy. Constantly, she asked for servants, dressed in black coats, pants, white shirts, and gloves, to cater to her every need, and of course a bigger, better, grander house, instead of the straw mud hut they lived in. She was unrelenting. All these things a heart could desire. You promised me, she would tell him, as well as beautiful, fashionable clothing and jewels. Where are they? When will my life change? Always he remained quiet, neither arguing nor disagreeing with anything said. Instead, he would place loving eyes on his young wife's face, seeing into a puffed-up pride with discontent about any good fortune of others, particularly with things she did not own. Tired of her belittling methods, he would grab his trapper's gear, silently leaving his home while being set upon by stinging words. Once in the open forest, the air refreshed him. His mind became clear. He laid his traps, placing them 10 paces apart, underneath a great many small branches. He set each trap spring for quick release. Everything went well. There was nothing left to do now except hide, seek, and wait. Time kept guard as the old trapper slept, standing up in an empty hollow tree opening, covered by leaves. He was somewhat dull, not fully awake, when a large, big-toothed, flat-tailed beaver was caught in one of his sprung traps, crying out for help, using words. He could not explain what he heard. Words were coming from the beaver. The old trapper stared in disbelief. Never had he trapped a talking beaver before. The beaver's eyes glowed with sudden, frightful fear. His tail stretched outward like a stiff dead board. Overpowered by an unforgiving metal trap, the beaver's webbed hind feet dripped blood. In a flash, the old trapper was on top of his catch, snarling with great anger, showing hard incised teeth. The beaver thought better of his situation, then revived its common sense. "Please do not kill me," it said. "I plead with you. Let me live. I am more than a beaver." "Are you?" asked the old trapper. "All I see is a beaver, a talking one at that, yet no more or less. You will dress my supper table well with delicious meat and a hide that will give warmth to nimble feet on cold wintry nights." "Wait," said the beaver. "You are full of rage and disdain for the life you lead. Being married is not easy, yet to someone much younger takes great patience." "How do you know this?" asked the old trapper. "I am bewitched," said the beaver. "I know many things." Their odd exchange went on for some time, whiling the minutes away, as the old trapper's inner storm softened up. He freed the weakened beaver, releasing his trap with easy action. He also tended its wounds. Before going his way, the bewitched beaver thanked him for his nobleness of heart, coupled with a generous spirit. "Go home," he told the old trapper. "All of your young wife's desires will be met. I hope it makes you happy." Then the old trapper parted, journeying home. Thinking of all that had happened exhausted him. When he arrived, his wife was giddy with surprise, not for him, but for what had happened. She talked non-stop about their good fortune. How one day she left a straw mud hut, only to find a brick mansion upon returning, complete with proper servants and all the trimmings of wealth. What else could she ask? It's a miracle, the young wife doing a lively jig. The old trapper calmed his wife down, telling his story to her of a bewitched talking beaver, foretelling future desires to be met, had her seeing him differently. At last life is blessing us, she said. All my envies are gone, she tells her husband. We have a means to get ahead. Again she becomes wildly happy. A subtle voice within the old trapper's ear spoke to him. Will you be happy? Paying no heed to any voice, he kissed and hugged his wife tightly, fancying a notion for a spectacular life. It was only 1 week passing before the wife wanted more and then more. Each time the beaver was summoned, each time favor was granted. In the 15 years of homage, the beaver had never denied any request, regardless of how baseless. Then on the 15th day of the 15th year, the bewitched beaver called upon the old trapper's home, revealing what was to come. Enough is never enough for some, said the bewitched beaver. When it's never seen, it's good enough. No one can be master of a life built upon faulty intentions and jealous desires. It will fall, lacking real value. What does not matter must be taught. What does must be practiced with love. So do not worry, old hunter, trapper, and fisherman, about things from your past until you are ready to control your future. With that said, the bewitched beaver vanished, never to be seen again. The older man, married to a younger woman, was as before, insulted and scolded daily. Greed had left them both worthless in all ways, except for each other and no more.
You are listening to Confetti Park, a podcast brought to you by ConfettiPark.com.